Hello. Good morning. I'm off down to St Margaret's Hope, which is to the south of where I'm now. I'm on the west mainland of Orkney. Just popping down to the Hope to meet up with some friends for a walk, and just thought I'd do a live stream in my 40 kilowatt Nissan Leaf. And as you can see, as per any other day, the roads here are absolutely heaving with traffic. This is what we have to put up with on Orkney. I'll just flip the camera around. There we go, that's me. With a nice added attachment on the side of my head, which is still sore from last Thursday. Another piece of basal carcinoma skin cancer was taken off the side of my head, and boy, it's been sore. And yeah, so you don't want to stare at this, you want to stare at that. That looks far nice and straight. There we go. So hence the reason for me pointing the camera the other way. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video in a few days' time when my wife gets back. She's away for a few days, of her thoughts on the new 40 kilowatt hour Nissan Leaf 20, which is what this is. I've now done 12,324 miles, and I love the car. It really is absolutely cracking. Still suffers from a little bit of the old rapid gate after the third consecutive rapid, but nothing that stops me from using it as an everyday car here on Orkney, which is 70 miles by 30 miles ish. It's not a problem, it really isn't. So I'm going to shoot a video with my wife, firstly talking about what she thinks about the Leaf, the pros and the cons. She's quite keen to do it, which I'm looking forward to, because it's nice to have a different person's perspective from, let's be honest, a non-EV geek like me. Person just uses it as a tool. So we're going to be doing that in a few days' time, which should make for interesting viewing. So let's play spot the other car. I can spot the sheep. But this is not really any different to any other day on Orkney, to be honest. It's always this manic with traffic. It really is. So it's been very busy this last few days. I think we've done 3 electric vehicles to customers down in England, and my good friend James of James and Kate on YouTube, I've been good enough to organise that. We've sold an i3, we've got a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf going to a customer in Coventry, Warwickshire, and possibly another red Techno going to a customer. The red Techno's on my website. It's absolutely immaculate, and we're going to pick it up on Friday. James is going to pick it up on Friday. Oh, here's a runner. Let's pull out so we don't hit the runner. We usually get a wave. Yeah, I've got a nod. So yeah, it's been a busy old few days. The Mitsubishi i-MiEV we had up here from, actually we got it from Kinross, had it transported to Aberdeen, put on the boat to Aberdeen, and I've sold it to a customer in Aberdeen. So it's going back on the boat on Thursday night, and the customer's going to get it on Friday morning. See if we get a wave off this lady. No. So yeah, it happens sometimes. People want to see the video of the car before they put their name on it, which is fair enough. I'd say the vast majority of my customers actually buy vehicles unseen, because I've sent them images and pictures. And the great thing about electric vehicles is that it's not like you've got to test out the clutch or check the oil or see if it's been looked after. And because with with an EV, there's no clutch to worry about, there's no oil pumps, cam belts, fan belts. You know, you can have two brand new internal combustion engine vehicles that will both sound slightly different because you've got so many thousands of moving parts that will all wear differently. The great thing about the new Leaf is this e-pedal. Now, I've not touched the brakes on that junction, just come off the accelerator. It's a nice thing to drive around town. Now, if I'm doing a long drive, I'll turn the e-pedal off, because as with all electric vehicles, it's more economical to just let the car roll as possible. So I take all the regen off if I'm on the motorway and just drive with a whiff of throttle. And the only time I engage B mode for heavier regen is if I'm coming off the motorway or I need to reduce speed, perhaps for a traffic jam, obviously down south. And that's when I put the regen on. So for coasting, for driving long drives, don't have any regen on. That's my top tip for today. Just use regen when you want to lose speed. If you want to maintain speed, you don't want any hindrance on the motor. You don't want any regen, because it's not as economical as just coasting as much as possible. So as you can probably see, the sea is to our left. We're heading over towards Kirkwall. Up above, just above that car, you'll see two large masts. That's Wyford Hill. That's the highest point on Orkney, which is just not a telegraph pole, it's just there. And that's where we did some filming with Robert Llewellyn last May. Was it the May before? That was the May before. Crumbs, time flies. 2017. When he did his opening sequence of being blasted by the wind, that was at the top of Wyford Hill. Robert's done, I think, 4 videos on me. Always good with Mark Ink Sharkman and Stuart, the sound man. Had a real good giggle when they came up here to do some filming over a year ago. To my left, you can probably see in shot, is one of the many wind turbines. That's on a friend's. Oh, some seals down there. You can see some seals. I should have stopped and showed you some seals. Yeah, lots of these turbines about. The people own the property with the turbine on. Morning JP, good morning Tim. I'm on the way to Terry and Elaine's. And I've got my movie camera with me, buddy, so I was hoping you're going to be in later so we can have a look at my camera. Turbines, yes. Lots of turbines on Orkney. Producing more electricity than we know what to do with. So that's a whole video in itself. If you're looking for something to look that's on YouTube that's a little bit different, search the word EMEC, E-M-E-C. They've just done a video on their accomplishments in 2018, and it's only a short video with different members of staff. Very, very interesting to look and see what EMEC's done. It's the European Maritime Energy. I can't remember what the C's for. That's really bad. Yeah, the roads are heaving, Tim. This morning, as you can see, I'm having to flash so many bits of traffic out of the way. Actually, Tim, I'm surprised you're up. When you're probably still having a cup of tea in bed. I've got 15 people watching. There's 15 people watching me drive to St Margaret's Hope. You're just up. I thought you were, Tim. I reckon it's Bjorn the long. It is Bjorn, actually, yes. I'll have to talk in a Swedish accent. Hello, my name's Bjorn. Bjorn Tesla. That's really bad. he was doing a live stream this morning as well in the Kia e-Niro, which strangely enough gave me the idea to do this morning. So I'm piggybacking off the back of Bjorn. But yeah, you're getting a free live stream tour of Orkney and the horrendous traffic problem we have here. It's either you or the Queen, mate. My friends and I, my husband and I would just like to say, I hope you all have a jolly, you all behave yourself. I'll watch you. Well, you are watching me, Tim. Right, over here, I've seen it going a bit wonky. There we go. I think I've had too many painkillers, I must be a bit talking. Right, over here on the left is Hatston. I'm going to take you into Hatston and I can show you some turbine stuff. Wouldn't you like to see that? Yes, please, John. Right, so we're going to go into Hatston. Yes, here is a junction. Right, now this is one of the first big turbines on me, the Hatston turbine. Surprise, surprise. And that has paid for itself about 3 times over by all accounts. It's a huge, well, not a huge turbine, but it's been there a fair amount of time. And it's one of the last to be turned off because it was first in the queue, basically. Anyway, here's Hatston. These units to the left have all got charge points. But just let me show you in here. Here we have one of the many. Just turn around so you can see. One of the many turbines. So this is Sustainable Marine Energy Limited. So basically these drop down and face whichever way the tides go in, etc, etc. So it's one of the experimental ones. Orkney's like the moon with grass. Yeah, I suppose it does look a bit like the moon, doesn't it? But it always reminds me of Thunderbirds because you've got like 3 and 6 and stuff. So it could be like Thunderbird. Was it Thunderbird 2? Can't remember. But that's those. I think over here, these things are something to do with the connections that sit on the seabed. Yes. They're big fat cables that sit on the seabed that anchor or take the power from, or you can see all the braided, take the power from the renewable devices that are being tested here in the waters of Orkney. There's another bit of gubbins there as well, I think. Just here some sort of device that sits on the bed to probably transfer the power. Oh, there you go. You've got EMEC up there, look. The branding on the side of the of this particular device. This is one of many. Obviously this one's not in the water, but there are many actually being tested because there are such rough waters around here that ideal place to get them tested. Let's take you down to the docks. That's where Scott Renewables are based, over on the right. Down here is a lot of freight that either comes up from Aberdeen or it's on its way to Shetland. Or some rumble strips there, I'll just miss them. Lose my camera. Now this large device on the right is owned by a company called Green Marine. It's like a giant cradle that lifts stuff in and out of the water. That's this thing here. And in fact the director of Green Marine has actually got Tesla. But yeah, so there's quite a big industry here on Orkney. That's the main terminal from Aberdeen. So that's where all my cars come from, Aberdeen, they dock here. But this is one of the massive devices that basically lowers stuff in and out of the water off the seabed. And so there's quite an industry, and they're not, well, they are involved in renewables in as much they put them in the sea and take them out of the sea. So there you go, look, I'll just show you. So it's like a big barge with obviously the ability to pull stuff out of the water. Green Marine Energy Support Services. So we see this cradle either in Stromness or here at Kirkwall at Hatston. So it gets about a bit. So there we go. That's Hatston Docks. And on the way in, I also noticed this is turning out to be a good idea because I'm thinking of things now I can show you. Just over here. Have I gone past it? No, I haven't gone past it yet. So here you'll see a couple of trailers from something called Surf and Turf. There's no traffic about, so let's do the old rock and the wrong way on the road. So those trailers there, that's part of the Big Hit project. That carries hydrogen from a place called Ede, which is one of the Northern Isles, and they all get put into hydrogen tanks. And I think there's 3 of those trailers. So there's one filling up, one on the way, one discharging. And they're going to be used for various projects, one of which is to power some Renault Kangoo electric vans with hydrogen fuel cells on board. And it's had its teething problems, this hydrogen project, but there's like anything that's a new project, it's having things ironed out, wrinkles, etc. But it does work, and the whole hydrogen project is because it's so hungry for electricity. It's in order to stop turbines being curtailed, which is a posh word for meaning being turned off when there's too much electricity. So these curtailed turbines on Ede, instead of it being turned off, it gets used to make hydrogen, which you can obviously make from water, seawater. It takes an awful lot of energy to make a kilo of hydrogen, if you like, but that's what the project is doing. So if the turbine doesn't get curtailed, it's a community turbine, the community still gets the benefit of the feed-in tariff and another benefit if the electricity is being used. So it's a win-win really. Now here on the left is the hydrogen filling station. Not many of these about in the UK, to be honest, but this is part of the Big Hit. You can probably see on the map there, actually, look, I'll just show you if you can see it. So it's made on Ede, the community wind turbine, hydrogen storage, and then those trailers that we saw get popped on a ferry, gets back down to Shappensea, and then on obviously down to Kirkwall. So in Shappensea they use it for boiler, and down in Kirkwall they're using it to power the ships when they're docked up at night. So that's one of the benefits, because all ferries have to have generators running 24/7 to keep everything, you know, the lights, the heating, the cooling, everything. These ships never actually get turned off. So to run them on hydrogen generators is obviously more environmentally friendly than using diesel generators. And then finally at the bottom, you can just see there, it's showing the Hatston, this actual station, to fill up 5 hydrogen fuel cell vans. So yeah, I've never actually seen anyone filling up here yet, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing about Orkney is stuff gets tried up here because it is quite unique in as much we've got too much electricity, and new stuff can be tried and tested in the most vicious of weather conditions, so to speak, with the strongest tides anywhere in the UK, and also obviously the strongest windy areas in the UK. Today's an unusual day in as much as we haven't got much wind. So here we are in the outskirts of Kirkwall, the metropolis, the heaving metropolis of Kirkwall. And what does every city seem to have in the UK? They have a Tesco's. The Picky Centre is on the right, which is again when we had an EV show with Robert Llewellyn. So there's Tesco's in darkness. What a nice thing to see. Tesco's actually shut. It's the bar. I've forgotten about the bar. Right, I can't go straight on because it's the bar today. The bar is a very aggressive game of football, and it's a strange old thing, so I'm going to have to take the long way round. Oh dear, I've forgotten all about that. Right, as you probably see, loads of people lined up on the street. There's a very strange game called the bar that happens on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And I'm going to have to find a different way. Yes, I know. And basically it's like a very rough game of rugby where people have to grab the ball and take it to one end of the town to the other end of the town. I forgot it was on today. Google it, spelled B-A. Do Orkney space B-A on Google. And it's quite a spectacle. There's probably somebody's live streaming it actually on YouTube, but I will go a different way that will avoid that. I completely forgot that was on today. There you go. So yeah, they have a men's bar and a boys bar. There's one today and one on New Year's Day. And interestingly, a few years ago they had a women's bar, but you know what? It was banned because it was too rough. So they stopped having a women's only bar. I will leave that comment right there and not say anything else. Watch out for the bar. I've just got it, Tim. I must be losing signal. So yeah, I missed the bar. I forgot the bar, so I'm going a different way to get down to South Ronaldsay, or St Margaret's Hope. Yes, there's a road up here on the left where those cars are going. We're also obviously avoiding the bar. Everything stops. Shops get wooden planks across them to stop people falling through the windows. Doorways get barricaded. Even the petrol station has these wooden beams around the pumps to stop people knocking them over, because it's a massive crush for the bar. So this is a bit of a shortcut, avoiding the middle of town, which other folks seem to be using. Once we get out the other side of town, we'll be heading down towards the Churchill Barriers. So you can see, yes, there is also one on the 1st of January. Thank you, Tim, for that top tip. I've only been here 5 years. How could I have forgotten there was a bar today? I don't know, John. How did you forget? Well, I did. You have to cook brunch. Oh, that's nice, Tim. Pity I wasn't invited. Brunch. You've only just got out of bed. Sausages. Vegetarian sausages. Right. to go because there is a heap of traffic. I know I'm always welcome, Tim. Is it alright if I pop by about 1 o'clock-ish with camera, see if we can suss it out, pal? Not a problem if you're doing something else. Tim's going to answer. Right, let's try this way. This should be easier. I don't think they're cording off this bit of town. I'll be in my pyjamas. Okay. As long as you've got your cloggy slippers on. I could pop in now, Tim, and do a live stream of you in your pyjamas. No, I don't think so. Tim is my good friend who does lots of and going out pyjamas. Tim does a lot of driving for me. He's my top EV guy on Orkney. He goes all over the country to pick up electric vehicles for me and bring them back for customers here when I can't get south. Tim has a Kia Soul. And he's also driven my Leaf a number of times. So if you want a Leaf or any EV delivering anywhere in the UK, and if I can't do it, then more than likely might be my good friend Tim. Now Tim has an excellent YouTube channel called Tim's Travels. Look him up, check it out. If you're into trains and travelling and flying, he's the guy to follow on YouTube. He has lots of interesting little factoids about things that he sees and looks up and puts into his videos. They are genuinely, I mean, I'm not into trains like Tim is, but they're genuinely very, very interesting. So Tim's Travels, look that up on YouTube. He's also on Twitter as Tim Travels 1, I think. That's really bad, Tim, I can't remember your Twitter handle. Right. Yeah, there's the barn, which is just down there. People having a good leg. I can't see any action. Anyway, drive past. I've driven past Tim. I don't want to drive past you. Fee might not be too happy with me driving past where you actually live. On the right, Tony C. Good morning, Tony C. We've got the new hospital, and Scapa Flow is in front. This is one of the new little islands that's been built because of the hospital. So we're now heading south of the islands. So I've come from the West Mainland. I've been live for 29 minutes already. Normally it takes about 15 minutes to get from my house to Kirkwall, and then from Kirkwall down to where I'm going another 20 minutes. So you can do more or less north tip of the island to the south tip in about an hour if you wanted to drive the 65-70 miles from top to bottom. No, it must be more than an hour. You can't do 70 miles an hour on Orkney. I'd say an hour and a half. Highland Park Distillery coming up on the left. Now, of all the whiskies, it genuinely has always been my favourite. Even before I came to Orkney, I loved Highland Park. So that's Highland Park Distillery. I just love its taste, quite peaty. And then down to the right is the famous Scapa Flow, which was quite famous in World Wars 1 and 2. If I can turn the camera, I'm doing it too tight, I think I have. That's Scapa Flow down to the right, and Scapa Distillery's down there as well. You'll see to the right as well, it's looking a bit wonky on the old camera, some oil tankers moored up. We've got a large island called Flotter, which is like an oil terminal, and yeah, there's one tanker in the Scapa flow, as they say. It's one of the very straight roads on Orkney. There is a lot of road traffic accidents on Orkney because people do travel rather too fast with these straight lines and straight roads. So sometimes there is a lot of road traffic accidents. Once I've passed this junction, well, there's nothing coming at the junction, I'm just going to take to one there. So for those that have just joined, if you've got any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. But I'm in a 40 kilowatt leaf going to the south of the island, a place called St Margaret's Hope. I'm meeting up with some friends for a quick walk and a coffee, and then I'm going to head back to my mate Tim's. So in about 5 minutes we'll be going across the Churchill Barriers. Now for those that are into the history, it's quite a famous stretch of road. Now here on the, yeah, there we go. Now in there we've got some sheepy pigs. Would you like to see some? I'm going to show you the sheepy pigs. Sheepy pigs are cool, right? You'll like this. Now look, these fellas, I'm going to take the camera out because you'll absolutely love these sheepy pigs. Oh, you look at these pigs. Have you ever seen pigs like this? Hello boys, these are sheepy pigs. They're absolutely cool. Have you ever seen pigs like that? There we go. I genuinely thought these were crossed between sheep and pigs. Obviously they're not. Different species, but they're really cute. So basically, this is Brian and Peter, Hungarian sheep pigs. The best animal attraction, Orkney, live here. So it's Brian and Peter. I think Peter's having a scratch. Is it you, Peter? You don't know. And that could be Brian. Hello, Brian. So there we go, sheepy pigs. And they are really they're quite hairy. I think they're quite cool actually. I like the old sheepy pigs. So there we go. It's not just about EVs, you see. It's also about sheepy pigs. Let's see if I can figure out do this without cancelling everything. Go. So yeah, sheepy pigs. Or should I say Brian and Peter? You see, what a live stream this is turning out to be. You've met Brian and Peter, the sheepy pigs of Orkney. There were some dolphins sighted yesterday in Finstown, which is near where I live. But over here is the flow. We regular. Sometimes we see orca, killer whale, and humpbacks here as well. Oh, we've got a rig. Can't show you because I'm driving, and to my right is an oil rig. I think it's one of those accommodation units. They come in here when there's a lack of demand for oil in the North Sea. Right, I think I lost you then for a minute. We're now back. 4G is a bit patchy here on Orkney. But I just... So another 2 or 3 minutes and we'll be going across the first barrier as we head on down to St Margaret's Hope. Sunrise today was, I think it was 6 minutes past 9. So because we're so far north, sunrise is a lot later in the winter, of course a lot earlier in the summer. So we've just gone past the shortest day, which I think is the 22nd December, when we probably get around about 6 hours daylight. So the sun comes up about 9 o'clock and goes down about 3 p.m. So, but the opposite happened. Oh, we're back. So we're coming down into a little village called Ham. Sounds like H-A-M, as in the meat ham, but it's spelt H-O-L-M, which is always a little bit... What car am I in today? I'm in my 40 kilowatt Nissan Leaf. This is Ham, and this is just before the first barrier. Quite like Ham. I've fished off the pier in Ham. And quite a few EV owners in Ham. One of which is Martin. We're back. So just past the post office. And in front now, stretching away to the right, are the Churchill Barriers, barrier number 1. The Churchill Barriers were built by Italian prisoners of war in the second, I think in the 50s or the 60s they put up the crash barriers. But this was primarily used to stop the German submarines getting in towards the Navy that was moored up in Scapa Flow. So it was to limit the amount of channels they could get in to torpedo the fleet. We've just passed the Italian chapel, which is quite famous. It was 2 Nissan huts built by the Italians. They turned into a Catholic chapel. This is barrier number 2, which often gets shut because of where it is, and if the wind and the tide and the storm is blowing a certain way, then this gets really hairy. You probably see some wrecks. There are wrecks there and there that were scuppered in the First World War, again to stop U-boats getting in to the flow. But they built these permanent barriers. So there's some of the wrecks there. This is barrier number 2. Joining up these little islands. So before these barriers were here, I think there was just basically a little ferry or a boat that would connect people to the mainland of Orkney. And then after a couple of hundred yards, we'll go across number 3. And number 3 is quite famous for... Barrier number 3, we just lost the connectivity, but it's come back now. There's a lot of wrecks around there that are dived by. They're dived by divers. There's a surprise. Because it's so clear and there's lots of interesting wrecks to see. So that's number 3. Now there is another barrier we're going to go across, but it's basically naturally filled in with sand over the years, so I don't think it's officially got the name was number 4. I don't know. I could be wrong. But this next barrier has basically been filled in on the left by natural corals. It's not this one coming to this natural. This next one has got like a little lake to the left, freshwater lake, and the sea's in front. So this next one is a barrier. It's a natural. At least I think it is. Natural connection between the two. To the right is where we've seen orca and humpbacks when the herring are in, or the mackerel. So they like to swim in this little area to the left, to the right rather. Because Suzuki Swift, he wants to go a lot swifter than I know to go, but hey ho. Yeah, now you're jumping on your brakes, you see. So what was the point? Tell me that, tell me that. Maybe he's got something in the oven that's getting a bit crisp. Who knows? Right then. So the next little barrier that's sort of been filled in is about 10 minutes away from St Margaret's Hope, which is where we're going. I think what I'm going to do when I get back, I'm going to take the clip of the sheep pigs and do a little video on the sheep pigs. I'm quite pleased they came up and said hello. Yeah, as you can see, well you can't see, but there are the same concrete blocks to the right, but on the left, that's all naturally built up over the years. That was all open water at one point, but because of where they've put this barrier, all the sand accumulated and just built up and built up and built up, and apparently there are some wrecks in there that are now buried underneath sand. So it's quite interesting how the environment, because they interrupted the natural flow and everything, it's just full of sand, and they actually dig sand out of there now for building something. Yeah, it's quite massive area around. We're waving at you just after a walk to the beach. Oh, okay. Nick Moon. Okay, Nick. So, Pentland ferries. They go from Gills Bay to St Margaret's Hope, which is in front of us, and that trip takes about an hour. It's half an hour faster than the Northlink boat, which goes from Scrabster to Stromness. Probably just see the boat there to the right. It's not as, how shall I say, it's not as comfortable as the Northlink boat, shall we say. It's a bit like getting on a council bus. But if you just want to get here quick and you live in the south of Orkney, then this is ideal. Price more or less the same as the North ideal. Price more or less the same as the Northlink boat. But the Northlink boat takes an hour and a half, whereas this one takes an hour. But it serves both ends of the islands, to be honest. So we usually catch the Northlink boat because we're only 15 minutes from Stromness, whereas we're a good 40 minutes from here back to where I live. Although I've been going for 50 minutes, and that's because I stopped and did some waffling on the way. It's usually a 40-minute drive from here to my house. So going to go down into St Margaret's Hope. If we were to go straight on, we'd end up going to a place called South Wandlesea, which is the southern tip of Orkney. So my friends live down here. So what I'm going to do is pop it on the rapid charge. This is one of 5 rapid charges we've got on Orkney, which for the size of our island is absolutely brilliant. Cooking back now. So I'm going to pop it on a rapid. There we go. There we go. Right. So I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching. And well, I'll tell you what, I'll plug in first. So there we go. So I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tune into my YouTube channel if you want some more of this daft stuff in the future. All right, I'm going to attempt to very professionally, if James is watching this later, he'll be cringing at my on here. There we go. I'm going to professionally end this broadcast. It's not going to happen, is it?